Okay.
How popular is your question?
Okay. So during your life, so far,
My life?
during your life, what has been one of the biggest goals you've ever set that you were able to achieve?
You have to write it down.
No, I'm recording it.
Oh, Titus, no.
Jake, it's your
Sorry.
report. Pay attention. It's your report. Pay attention. So, what do you? Did you ever have a goal that you achieved, Dad?
I guess probably graduating med school.
Med school. And what about maybe the surgeon part of it?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So what was it? So how old were you when you applied to medical school? How did you have to apply?
Can I grab
No.
it?
Sit here.
I wanted to grab another shit. Okay, fine.
It was just my senior year in college.
Yeah.
And you know,
Do you remember? Like, so where did you go to medical school, Dad?
at Hahnemann, which no longer exists.
It's Drexel now, right?
It's Drexel, yeah. They bought Hahnemann,
Ross Horniman.
yeah.
How many years did you have to go
To what?
to medical school?
4 years.
What was your hardest class?
Geez, I don't know.
Who was your favorite teacher? Who was your favorite teacher? You remember?
In med school?
Yeah.
I saw him with this.
Trying to think.
Are you eating your chicken?
Why did you want to go to medical school? What was your inspiration?
I think I was supposed to.
You were supposed to?
Well, I had a bunch of doctors and,
Your family?
in the family.
Do you think that you had your brain was kind of wired to do that?
Possible.
You told me that when I was growing up that you used to get dolls and you would cut them open and sew them back.
I never remember that.
Yeah, you used to tell me that. You used to sew dolls back together. Like you'd cut them down and you would sew them back up.
I don't remember that.
What kind of doctor was your dad?
He was a family doctor.
Was he a good doctor?
Yeah, he was a good doc, yeah.
Okay, what's number 4? Hey, Dad. I can ask you.
Oh,
Were there
Were there?
any obstacles that you got into your way?
Were there any obstacles that got in your way? You have to use two hands. Two hands. Obstacles that you had to overcome, or obstacles to get into medical school or to become a cardiac surgeon?
Well, there were plenty of obstacles.
Like what?
Getting decent grades.
Yeah, having to get good grades.
Yeah. In med school, we, you were given various patients to examine and write about it.
Yeah.
And
Like alive patients or dead patients? Oh,
Alive patients.
Oh, in med school?
yeah, in med school.
Yeah.
And I had this little old lady, and I examined her and wrote down what I found. And it turned out that everything I put down was absolutely 100% right. And I was the only guy of the seniors and everybody else
Yeah.
got it wrong.
Why?
And I'm the only one that got it right.
What was wrong with her?
She had a large heart and it was way down, and
Oh gosh.
I examined, I just wrote down what I found.
And you
And I'm the only one that did that.
Did that make you want to become the heart surgeon, or
It just,
that like helped contribute to that?
oh, that,
No.
yeah.
Hey, Grandpa,
Yeah,
did you ever think of giving up?
of what?
Did you ever want to give up when you were trying to become a doctor?
No, I never wanted to give up.
Nope. We don't give up.
But
There's none of that.
Can you read this one?
Did you have one by this? You did? You didn't like it? It's delicious. Whatever. When you achieved your goal, how did that help you in life? Well, I can explain that. Or what was it like now that you've accomplished that goal? And now that, like, how would your life different that you, what did that becoming a cardiac surgeon, what did that do to your life?
what made you're in a group that very few people are in,
That's true.
I mean, my graduating class, I think there's about 5 or 6 of us that did heart surgery or chest surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Small group.
Yeah. So what's it like when you save someone's life on a table?
Well,
But it feels magical.
Does it feel magical?
one of the ones that was really, I literally did save this guy's life. I walked into one of the hospitals, I was in the staff of them, one in the ICU,
Yeah,
which
that's where you went.
that's where
That's where you did your rounds.
And I saw this patient and looked at his chart. He was on a system where he was all the time. It was on this chart was, anyway. And I looked at the patient, I looked at his wound,
Yeah.
which was just a little
Right.
stab wound up here in the chest.
Right.
And I looked at he was on a screen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that it was getting smaller and smaller.
His vitals.
Yeah, but it was, you could see it.
Oh, yeah, the little. Uh-huh.
And I screamed at a nurse, "Get me a knife." And I think I said it twice, "Get me a goddamn knife." And he's wide awake.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And I just opened his chest.
Ouch.
And a guy came in who was another doctor. He was a surgeon, but not my kind of surgery. And he looked at me and goes, "Oh, Paul, like, you asshole, what are you doing here?" Yeah, really. And I opened the chest, and then I could see what was going on. I was right.
Yeah.
So I opened the pack that the heart sits in,
Mm-hmm.
and slit that open, and all the blood just poured out. I put my finger over the wound in the heart, and that's I put a couple stitches in a minute or two later, and that guy would live.
Well, how does some
He would have not lived another minute.
Wow.
I mean, it was that close.
Because his heart, his heart was bleeding inside.
Inside in this packed wound, and making his heart smaller and smaller with the compressor.
With the blood compressing it in there.
Well, it was the blood was bleeding, and it was still leaking a little bit, but the main amount of the blood was inside.
Was he he was your patient or no? You just walked by.
I just walked by. I didn't know whose patient it was.
Oh wow. And so when you cut open an awake person who had no anesthesia, how did that go?
I got an anesthesiologist up there quickly.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say that could hurt.
I had stopped it.
Yeah.
Just my finger on it. That's all I could do at the moment. Then I got a couple stitches and closed it. But
wow.
And he had been at a party or something, and somebody stabbed him. He knew the guy that stabbed him, but would not give out the information.
Really?
Oh, so that's how he got the wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He
got
got stabbed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't go to parties.
that's right.
There was one time a guy in Australia who metal went through his left temple or his right temple and went out his head. He survived, but he was like 18. But this was recently, and it was after he stopped. But he was in Australia and he went to a party.
It's called impaled. He fell and
No, he wasn't. He didn't fall. It just went he didn't fall. It just went through. Like they don't.
It's like the same thing when the guy that fell backward off the building and
yeah.
that pipe impaled his head. You want to see pictures of that? So I would come home from school at 3:00, and I'd walk in the kitchen, and before we had iPhones and videos and all that kind of stuff, Grandpop would take a camera that had film in it and take pictures. He'd open up chests and he'd take lots of pictures, and then he'd get them developed at the store, and then like real pictures, and then he'd spread out all these pictures of his surgeries with all the chest and the blood and the guts hanging out. That would be on the kitchen table.
Imagine there was actually a patient on the table.
Yeah. Imagine. They had all the
What
pictures.
the heck is going on here?
Oh, if they were awake and they're like, stop taking pictures of me. Oh, he also used to like to listen to music while he operated. So the person's there lying there, totally like out of it. Grandpop's has to saw through his, he takes a knife and opens his chest, right? And then you have your rib cage, and he gets a saw and he opens the rib cage, and then he opens that up, and then he goes in and he's listening to like Donna Summer.
what Doctor Strange did, except he recited in the movie Doctor Strange.
He's
remember
listening
when
to
he
the
would play
happiest
songs,
song
and he would
ever,
recite
and he's
them, like
operating.
1997, whatever.
What?
It's a movie. So yeah, he would listen to like the Pointer Sisters. He loved. Wait.
I don't think I can operate on somebody because they will just. Because I'm scared I'm going to kill somebody.
No.
Oh, I've done that.
No. There you go. Well, how'd that happen, Dad?
How many kills did you get?
How many kills?
Just made a big mistake.
What'd you make a mistake?
I inadvertently opened an area and it bled like hell, and I couldn't stop it.
Oh. Why were you in there in the first place?
First kill.
I was
That's not funny.
removing this.
Not funny too.
I mean, that's a build-up of. I forget what it's called, but anyway.
Do you want me to grab his ice cream?
No,
But you never did that again, right?
No, I never did that again.
See? Then you learned from that. And
Wait, what part was it?
do you remember what part of the body you were operating on?
Chest.
Oh, he was a chest surgeon. Everything right
I
here.
thought he was a heart surgeon.
Well, where's your heart? Right in your chest.
No.
So vascular, so veins from here down to like here. Hearts.
Cardio means heart's vascular.
That's what Trevor wants to do, cardiovascular and thoracic surgeon.
Well, then he's gonna buy his mom a house, then Isabella, then me.
Well, doctors don't make money like that anymore.
Well, you know what?
Hopefully he will, but
He's already
Gets
done all the math.
$1,000
He also
a
promised me
day.
that he'd buy me a car.
a lot more than that, Jake.
Who's that?
How much?
Trevor.
Who?
$1,000
Trevor?
a lot more
Trevor,
than
the
1,000.
hockey, Jeannie's
Jeannie's son wants to
What
be a
about
thoracic
an
surgeon.
engineer? How
good.
much does an
And I told
engineer
him,
spend?
What? How is Jeannie? I haven't seen her in a long
Yeah,
time.
you know, school started, so like during the summer, there it's a lot
What?
more relaxed schedule. But you know, when school starts and hockey and all that, you know, everything.
started.
We're all
What's
running
the
in a million
most
different
paid
directions.
engineer?
Well,
It depends on if you own your own company or not.
so
Okay, wait. Is there another question?
No, that's it.
All right, Dad. So, what was your proudest moment besides the day I was born? Sit up, Jake, right now.
sit up.
I don't know.
What was your, like, so your proudest, like, so did you ever, like, the guy, I know that you were excited about the guy that lived with the pole in his head.
Yeah, that guy. He fell backwards off the second floor and went through this metal rod. Came out here.
Rebarb. Do you know that? Rebarb.
And
Did he lose
He
his
didn't-
That was a
memory?
big deal. That was on the
Did
news.
did he lose his memory?
no, didn't lose anything.
He didn't lose his memory. So he was a construction worker and he was working on a brand new building, and there's these things called rebarb, and it's steel that sticks up, and then you put concrete blocks on top of it, and he fell backwards. And he fell off the building, and his head fell right onto a big, huge steel pole. And his head went down like this, and it went through the back of his head and came out right here in his eye, and he was awake the whole time. So they sawed the rebarb at the bottom.
Well, they took some.
Clipper.
They had some thing to cut it with, some machine.
And put him in the ambulance and took him to the hospital, and there's Grandpop saying, because the
He had rods sticking out of his head this far out.
he was awake,
Yeah,
and he was awake when he got to the hospital. In the emergency room, he was awake. And the thing was, is if you take it out,
He'll
he
die.
was worried he was going to die if he took it out.
Because you
Well,
can't.
it turned out
If
the-
he pulled
listen.
it out.
it did not go through his brain.
Can you imagine?
Oh,
It
What?
missed his
went
brain.
underneath it, I guess, right? Wow.
It missed every
amazing.
single thing. So my dad would actually go, and you know why I know this? because I found a bunch of articles about it. You were in the, it was in the Associated Press, so it went everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So he
must
was
think he's the luckiest guy on
he was the luckiest guy
I was
on earth.
lucky,
So Grandpop would go speak at medical conferences, and he had all these pictures, right? And he would talk about this patient that fell, and he'd show the pictures and him falling off the building, and then he would say, and guess what happened to him? And then the guy would be in the audience, and he'd pop up, I'm here.
No, he just.
Isn't that amazing?
There was a weekly meeting, or maybe it was monthly, I don't know. But anyway, he would come in and sit down because just somebody they didn't know, and nobody paid any attention to him until, I'd get asked a question, what was that like or something like that, and I said, why don't you ask him?
The guy sitting there.
Yeah, it was
That's good.
fun to do, yeah.
That's good. Were your steak okay?
Perfect,
Oh, good.
perfect.
So compared to last night,
Yes.
which one? Yes, please. Yeah. Yes, please. So Sabrina,
Yeah, oh,
I think she's going to be a neurologist.
No, I'm not.
What are you gonna be, Sabrina?
Gonna work with special ed kids.
As a doctor,
Okay.
not as a teacher.
Nope.
So
Nope. My
Both my-
husband's gonna have a well-paying job, and I'm gonna be able to do whatever I want whenever I want. And I don't want to be.
good luck with that.
You know what? I have a dream. And I want to work with special ed kids. And
So
help
Sabrina and
them.
Jake. So Sabrina. So I wanted them both to go to medical school, but now I'm thinking Jake. I'm not so, but like that's not his.
The
It may
thing
be
is, I don't
you're
wanna waste-
going.
I don't want to waste my 20s
Sorry.
in medical school.
Don't fight with me. I don't know why you're
I'm
fighting
gonna
with
fight
me.
with you until, because I don't want to go to medical school and not gonna use it. It's a waste of my time, and it's a waste of a decade of my life.
Okay. Good luck with that.
so what do you want to do?
Yeah, she has a heart for kids with developmental disabilities. So kids with autism or Downs or Williams syndrome, kids like that. She has literally since the day she came out of the womb, she's always had a heart for that, for kids like that.
Well,
So put your pen
you
down.
might find yourself changing your ideas about what you want to do.
She will. She's just arguing with me
Yeah.
because she's 13.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, stop talking back.
I'm just,
No, you can go.
I mean, as a teenager and going to your first to college, you might find yourself changing several times about what you want to do. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Whatever. So the one thing is like, if you're gonna work, I feel like if you're gonna work in a field, like if you know, like this is what I want to do. You want to have. Wait, are you done, Dad? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to have the most impact. Like being a teacher in a classroom and affecting 7 kids when you could affect 1.5 million. It's like, there's no question. However, as long as you live in my house,
Oh,
right?
that's not fair. That's not
Oh,
fair.
how many times did I hear that one?
Well, what time is about that I get to choose?
Jake?
Once I'm 18, I'm a legal adult, and I get to choose my
You
own
absolutely do. And you can pay
You
for it.
can choose, oh, nonsense.
Yes, you can.
decisions. No, I'll get a scholarship.
Good luck. Okay,
You
yes.
very well may.
Yeah, she might. She has a high IQ.
I know she does, all the kids do.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm gonna go to battle with her till
You're going to go to battle with
we go to
her?
war. Her and I.
Oh, no.
Where'd Jake go?
She'll go to war herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to medical school if I'm not going to use the degree.
Right.
Well, you don't know.
She's just trying to push my buttons.
Well,
I'm not trying to
she obviously does a good job of that.
No. Okay. You come in, I'll go upstairs. You may sit at the table. Jake, I don't know where you're going. I do not know where you are going. No. Is that for Grandpa?
Do you want ice cream or anything?
Yep.
Do you want
Go ahead.
ice cream?
Give it to him.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Here, okay.
Here you go.
Here you go. Here, grab him a spoon.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Get him a spoon, honey.
Yeah. Aren't you getting some ice cream?
Yeah.
You can clear your plates and put everything away, please. I know. It's asking so much.
Not what I'm mad about.
Sabrina, how do you just survive?
Not what I'm mad about.
Oh, you're mad because I'm making you go to medical school and change the lives of all these kids. I know. God gives you a gift, and I'm telling you, keep it in the closet. Go to art school.
I don't want to go to art school.
Be a surfer.
Nowhere I want to go.
Be a surfer. Why don't you just surf? Go shopping.
Just be prepared to change your mind several times.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Appreciate it.
I'll take some, please.
Mrs. Miller says Gracie's going to be a hairdresser.
Good for Gracie.
I know, right?
I can voice my own opinion.
The hook there.
But I can voice my own opinion. My opinion is that I don't want to go to medical school because I don't want to go be a doctor. I don't
Did you
like
get Grandpa a spoon?
doing that kind of
Okay.
stuff, so I'm not
Thank
gonna.
you. Okay, enough spoon.
Maybe you have a heart for being a dermatologist or
Huh?
something.
Take a cup off my crack pipe and sit down.
Maybe
No.
you have a heart for being a dermatologist
Asking me
and
to
stuff, but we're
participate?
two different
No.
people.
Huh? We have a new rule in our house. Daddy and I came up with it last night. You want to hear it?
Yes, it's something that we can't do this and this and this until this and this and this and this is done.
No one leaves the dinner table until the kitchen is entirely cleaned up.
Thought that was something.
Floor,
that people
counters, everything in the sink that's been washed is dried and put away.
A few months ago, and we just
Well, I'm done having to stay up till 11 and then getting up at 4 and cleaning the dishes before you wake up so the princess can text me her breakfast order.
Well, I don't text you your dinner breakfast order. I don't think you text
Yes, you do. Shall we go through the breakfast? Breakfast. I don't want that. Breakfast. Breakfast.
the queen can choose where she wants her son to go to school.
I did, MIT.
Yeah, but why can't I go to where I want to go and not do whatever you like? Why can't I?
Stop. Just stop. Okay? You know, it's fine. It's joking around and all that kind of stuff to a point where you're getting belligerent.
Go Westmore. You keep pushing it.
Stop. Now.
Go Westmore.
Go to Westmark. Sabrina?
No, Sabrina's son.
Sabrina's son can go to Westmark. Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you like Westmark, Jake? You do? People ask me that all the time.
Yeah, everyone asks me how he's doing.
Yeah, they ask me how you're doing, and then they ask me if you like it.
I like it.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it better, or is it just different?
Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
Why did you?
Why did I what?
Why did you agree to get rid of the most important stage something and replace it with reading?
Oh, your study hall? So Jake has, it's called a block schedule. So every day, so there's like 6 different schedules. A day, B day, C. So it allows them to have longer periods, which gives them more classroom time for each subject, which is good. So how his block schedule worked out, it was like twice a week, he had study hall.
Right.
Where he could get a lot of his homework done.
Yeah.
Well, they took study hall away for him and Holden and made it's an hour and a half of reading now.
Oh.
And me and Holden's mom were like, sign me up for that. Right? They're like, is that okay? Are you all right with that? And we were like, yes, we are. And Holden and Jake are like digging their heels in the ground.
Why?
Because they got their study halls, like, they got to get a lot of work done. It is also very good because they are doing their homework with teachers. You know what I mean? Like, there's teachers there that have questions. But that's, you know, me and Mrs. Holden, what's Mrs. Holden's last name? Anyway, we're like, what are we paying for? What are they doing here? Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway. So, it's just a season. It'll be over. So, I can tell you stories about when... Do you remember when airplane stories? When he had a hole in the plane? When he'd fly us around?
Oh.
He used to fly us... He'd say, let's go skiing in Tahoe. And we'd get in the plane and go.
Literally, we're the only class who has that reading thing.
Okay, Jake, we moved on. Jake, did you know that I had a plane when I was growing up? You know how Daddy and Mommy have cars?
Uh-huh.
We had a plane.
Why?
Because I get anywhere I wanted to go.
She loves to fly. And so we would fly. The plane was small. It wasn't a big plane.
Well, it was a private.
Well, it was a
So one time,
twin engine,
yeah, pressurized bearing.
pressurized, yeah.
Yep.
And it was
Bye.
quite an airplane.